The It's Just Network presents It's Just Us,
where we go back and forth,
or side by side on topics to make you think deeper.
But no matter how much we debate or disagree with each other, always remember,
it's just opinions.
It's just laughs.
It's just love.
And most importantly, it's just us.
Now we get to talk about you, Miss Striker, and how your 2023 went.
Okay, so
Start January.
my January. I think January I was low key chilling. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Internship, I believe.
Yes, it was an internship coming up that I had already bagged in 2022. Yeah, but January, I think January was a time for a lot of transformation that was coming that I didn't realize. But at that point in time, I was just chilling. I was making enough money at my own specific job. Patrick had lost his job at that point, but since he's starting to get better, we're finally getting doctors to actually take us seriously. But yeah, his mama in the medical field, right? So she understood what was really happening once we fully understood the severity of it. Because I guess maybe to her we was downplaying it, but to us this was our normal.
Yeah, it had just became a normal thing.
Yes, we stayed over at house that weekend, and within that week and a half, she was getting doctor's appointments up and ready and set for you. Well, we was fighting for several months.
I kept telling my job, which I know we're not on my episode, but I kept telling them, I only need a week. That's all I need.
Listen, at that point, we had enough in the savings. I told you quit.
Yeah.
Quit your job.
That's facts.
Quit your job. So January-ish and then going into March, when you finally start getting 10 times better than what you was before, I think it made me feel relaxed in the beginning of the year. And I really have to explain how that difference of energy changed.
Okay.
From the beginning of the year to the end. Because the end of the year, I was so unbelievably stressed out that I had to learn meditation and wellness practices because I had already contacted a therapist and psychiatrist. From the beginning to the end, that's where it's a lot that happens. It is. Mm-hmm. It's a lot that happens. I had spring classes as we're starting up, the podcast. Mm-hmm. I also had my job because, as you guys know, if you guys follow me on Instagram, I was posting about working at Xfinity, and I was still there up until May when my internship started, which I was able to get my internship from 2022 fall. Mm-hmm. And they just make you do 2 semesters before. I don't know why, but it was at this point in time that I didn't realize that I had an underlying condition going on that, you just try to manage through life. It's something that you don't really realize. It's affecting everything.
Everything you do.
Everything you do, basically, yeah. Because by the time I sat down in front of the psychiatrist, she understood, okay, you have from professional/work to school, to personal life with friends and family. This is something that's been affecting you for a while. That's just been more underlying. And basically what I was able to figure out and discover through them was the whole ADHD thing. And I had gotten tested for it, and I got an educational diagnosis. Which it's serious, it is, but ain't nobody else is going to take it serious outside of FAMU because It's not an actual doctor that reviewed it. I just had to go to the testing center where they actually test you for the specific disorder. And then they hear about your history, do interviews, stuff like that. But again, it's not an actual psychiatrist doing it. So educational diagnosis job. I didn't realize, I need to get professionally checked once I got into this internship. And it's a sales internship. I ain't gonna lie to you. When I didn't know what type of company this was, I was just happy that somebody wanted me. But as soon as I got into this company, they starting off all the meetings oh, do you guys know who you're working for? And majority of us, like 8 out of 10 of us in the class is like, no, it's about like 200 interns. It's a lot of us. And they were basically saying, we mainly work with just business to business, but only senior executives. Like, we only work with the decision makers of these really, really well-known corporations.
Yeah.
To provide them the information that they need to scale even more.
It was executive work you were doing.
Child, this sales internship had me doing the worst. It was so much going on. Now, mind you, I'm doing this internship while doing the podcast because school had just let up at this point. This internship had me working. It had me working a lot of hours that I was not expecting to be working.
It was like a full-time job.
It was a full-time job.
Yeah.
Like, granted, they was paying me a good amount. I ain't gonna lie.
It was nice for an internship. I was like, dang, that's what students make these days?
I was about to say, well, they paid us technically what our base would be.
That's what I'm saying. That's a lot for an internship.
And then the commission was going to add like another 30 on top. I was like,
I was like,
okay.
You know, I still support you if you want to. Just all right.
It was an amazing experience, but I come from a sales background already, but the actual metrics that they had us doing so much busy work on top of us jumping in on calls, doing these specific meetings, and hopping on with conversations with these executives while they're talking about their business plans. So it was a lot, but you had to manage your time because you was left alone. I'm telling you.
Extremely.
You was left alone. You didn't have to do anything. If you didn't want to, it was just, if you don't do anything, you're not going to pass the internship.
You're going to get cut.
And you're going to get cut. They have enough money to not worry about if you're actually doing your job or not, because they didn't want us in the actual process messing up these 6-figure deals, right? We were shadowing a lot, and even sometimes we'll be able to actually engage with the clients, but they was not having us in any of the actual positions of the sales process to mess up this deal. Because this is a deal that they could be working on for like 5-6 months.
I would like to highlight, if you don't mind, just because I was there, like from the other side. Of course, like I was starting my own job, so I wasn't like there in the flesh, like watching you work, but I was there to hear the ending. Mm-hmm. And I know you were definitely acknowledged as somebody that works even better than some of the current employees. So
I was, yes.
How did it make you feel, even though like, yeah, you were going through a lot and you were balancing that and content, which those who don't understand content takes a lot of your work-life balance away.
It does. It invades different parts of your life.
Yeah.
So there isn't like a lot of boundaries.
So you were struggling with the boundaries of figuring out like your own image in the content world and a new internship in a different type of profession, because it's more executive sales, like over retail sales.
Yes, that is 100% true.
But how did it make you feel? Getting acknowledged from somebody that was pretty up there and them letting you know that you were doing better than some of the current employees?
It felt really great, honestly, because I never realized that I never gave myself full kudos for what I could do and what I could learn on the fly. And that's the reason why, like, the pros of ADHD I'm learning after getting diagnosed sometimes makes like the cons not as bad. But being able to multitask, handle these specific relationships in a way to cultivate trust enough that you respect my expertise to sign over these 6 figures that you got in your budget. I was able to learn a lot, actually, and I was able to show off the talents to gain those specific accolades. And before, those talents probably would have been a little bit kept hidden. I did go into overdrive at the end because there was a point in time where the ADHD was kind of overtaking a lot of things in regards to the concentration, the actual executive functioning needed to do daily tasks. Mm-hmm. If you don't do the job in a methodical way, mm-hmm. you are going to lose a lot of control of your time. Because they give you so much that if you don't do anything in this period of time and you try to stuff so much in this short period of time,
It's going to look sloppy.
It's going to look sloppy, and it's going to run the case of you not being able to hit those metrics, hit your goals.
Yeah, because in the business world, there's not a lot of place for sloppiness.
Yes. So I think I was able to articulate what was going on with me too during that point in time. I didn't really keep it hidden, but I was still doing as much as possible and even overextending myself sometimes with trying to be a benefit to the group.
Mm-hmm.
And it was in those specific ways that allowed them to see just how much of a hard worker I was and what type of talents that I was sitting on. Where if there would be some times where I would be asked for my own opinion on the situation because it was valued. That's the reason why the company was good. The company was good. There was a lot of transforming that I had to do within myself because those mechanisms, those coping mechanisms that I had from before dealing with undiagnosed ADHD, it was something that I was clinging on to, that this internship, managing the podcast, and then trying to actually get on top of personal home life / friends and family, that I had to learn how to manage past those coping mechanisms.
Mm-hmm.
Like the job itself was like the catalyst. The podcast, unfortunately, took some back burners due to some long nights, but it helped develop that resilience that I was going to need for that last quarter of the year while we were still filming the podcast. Because at the end of the day, in the back of both of our minds, it's content and connecting with people through the content that we want to see be made.
Yeah.
That was the goal. That was the mission. That was something
It was always our number one priority.
It was our priority, and it was our passion that really made us continue to go back to it. It didn't matter what was going on. We knew that was something that still had to get done regardless.
100%. I agree.
Because what was the statistic about podcasts? Like by like the third
episode 3.
Huh?
Episode 3.
By the third episode, how many podcasts actually drop off?
Like 65%.
By the third.
Yeah.
Already over half out.
I see why.
I do too.
I see why.
I do too.
Because, I mean, you got to think, right? Yeah, we didn't have a team, but we definitely understand how content work. We understand how audio work. We understand how video work and photography. Like those are 3 things that we were already doing. Like I was making skits and gaming video. You were even making beats. Some people don't know that. I ain't gonna put all your business out. But you did photography, and we both did vlogging together when we were like first got together.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine the people with no real content experience. Getting a podcast
and without any of that equipment that was
with no equipment that we've already built up over time.
Yep.
It makes sense why a lot of it would quit, because most people aren't going to want to do only audio. That was a big compromise we had to do it with ourselves. So we did not want to only do audio.
I had to do with my social media and data analytics class at FAMU.
Mm-hmm.
Media, especially video, has so much more reach, especially in this short form content day and age. We was going to be compromising big if we only did audio.
And we had to in there for a little bit.
We did. But we had to get to the point where regardless, it has to go out.
Yeah, something still has to go out regardless. I agree. But it makes sense why a lot of people would quit. So, okay, you get to the internship. Internship spanks you a little bit, but you still, in the end, get back swinging, and you end out on top. What comes after that? Oh
yeah, I was able to do like 35-40% in such an extreme short period of time. Once I was able to get my prescribed Adderall, child, I was at everybody's base, and because I was finally at everybody's base, I was able to exceed them because I was already trying hard as hell from down below with less hormones. I think it was dopamine that was a specific hormone I was like really low in compared to the average person. But once I got to that base, child, I flew. But what came after that is I decided I wanted to focus only on school, because on the work professional side, I'm always so serious on building up whatever skills, talents, or expertise that I believe I have at that moment. But I really have a passion for communication. I have a passion for public relations as a whole, not just journalism. Mm-hmm. Like public relations and being able to connect to a wide range of audience and be able to spread a message. I think I connected with that heavy. So I really wanted to go back to school full time and focus mainly on that. Now that I've worked on the actual business skills that I learned from the School of Business and my sales account management background. So for me, I didn't realize going back to school though was going to lead into the roughest part out of the whole entire year. Mm-hmm. If anything, I think this was the most traumatic semester out of the year. Completely. Y'all may not realize, but I still can't lift up my shoulder all the way. I can't. This is the furthest. Like,
all you can do is make 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. This is not 9 o'clock. What is this? 3?
Depending on which side of the clock you're on.
Okay. But let me start from the beginning so you guys can kind of understand what I'm talking about, right? Which you may not be seeing this on the video, but I was demonstrating how far my shoulder can go since the car accident.
It's 100 for one arm and 50% for the other one.
And that was at the end of the year, the very last day of school. For me, like to actually come into classes, that was my very last day. And that was the last day I walked across in a little crosswalk and got hit. I'm just minding my business, talking to my classmate. But I was really thinking in my head, like, you know what? This seals off the rest of this seals off the whole semester. It do. Just because it started with financial aid.
The good ones.
It's always
good or reliable.
Financial aid.
The ones you can always depend on.
Listen, I love FAMU. I love the legacy, the institution, the history. I am a proud Rattler. I am. But I'm not going to sit here and be blind to things that can be improved upon and fixed, especially when it affects people's lives, bro. Because you could talk to any student in a class at FAMU, and I'm pretty sure this is a HBCU. This is a HBCU issue, honestly. Because you can go to Howard and talk about a financial situation that happened a few years back. But that one dude stealing all that money for himself, but flashy on Instagram. You know what? I kind of want to, if we can get like a little bit of him showing up on the actual camera screen, that'd be great. But you can go to JSU, you can go to a lot of these different HBCUs, Bethune-Cookman especially, like, and see the issues that came with financial aid. But with me, they gave me some information that was very, very incorrect. And we spent the next 3-4 months in like a back and forth tussle. We're trying to figure out, okay, what's the next thing that needs to get done? With a sprinkle of gaslighting in between, like, yeah, it's coming next week.
It was supposed to be coming next week so many times.
It was supposed to be coming next week. I really felt like I was talking to like an abusive ex. I kept saying he wasn't going to cheat, but I keep finding the next female's name showing up in the messages.
It's always just popping up.
What you mean? There's something else I got to do, right?
Yeah, but this the last time.
Because at this point, all I'm doing is that I was making my own money, so obviously they only offer me financially based off of that. I left my internship. I ain't got nothing, so I'm gonna need a little bit more grants. I'm gonna need a little bit more something. And that sparked off a whole entire situation, mainly just because financial aid, you could talk to one person who knows like 30%, and you could talk to another person who may know about 10% of the policies. But they both gonna talk to you like they know 60 to 70% of the policies, right? It ain't gonna be a cohesive level of knowledge that's being passed along. Because one person gonna tell you something that the next person is gonna completely deny or straight up say that that's wrong.
Nah, that ain't how it go.
Because you need to be doing this, right? Mm-hmm. But at this point, because even though I don't want to be a journalist, I know I'm in the school of journalism. I don't want to be a journalist. But even though I'm in the school of journalism, I'm going to keep records of everything that we talk about, we communicate. I'm keeping emails, I'm keeping phone records, I'm making sure stuff is notated. And per our conversation, if you don't want to send me an email, like we're keeping physical records of every single time I'm coming into this office, because I was lied to twice during a time frame that I could have done something.
Yeah, and that affected you a lot.
And I say lied to because maybe they didn't have, well, I know 9 times out of 10 they didn't have malicious intent. It was just a lack of knowledge. But that lack of knowledge caused so much stress because out of nowhere, babe, we was chilling in the beginning of the year, chilling. Even with me telling you to quit your job because we had that much in savings, we was chilling. Had a little bit more saved up from the internship because they was paying good, chilling. Now my income gone.
Yeah.
Completely on my side. But here's the thing. I could have just got me another job. I got the skills for it to still be able to get a higher paying job to be able to pay for everything.
But you're in class.
But I'm in classes now. I'm in classes. I have 4 on campus, 2 online. Actually, it was 6 classes altogether. 2 online. So obviously, I can't get no job with this. One of the classes is 5:30 to 6:45. I still had to go.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I could actually seek out a job because I was full-time here, and the financial aid was usually enough to actually tide me over because that's technically all I needed.
Mm-hmm.
But going through this back and forth, running between so many different departments of the school, from registrar to the School of Journalism to financial aid directly, now towards the end, because it had to be escalated so much, we're talking to the VP of Student Affairs over this issue because everybody I talk to completely agrees it is not your fault. They should have told you correctly what was happening in that week that you could have done something.
And nobody did.
And nobody did. And they allowed it 2, 3, 4 weeks after that to continue the same wrong information before they realized, hold on, something's blocking your financial aid still. Mm-hmm. The director, like the VP, it's so much that happened. And now, because I didn't realize lifestyle creep had gotten on us, it did. It did. A lot of our bills was kind of like a little bit more up there where our income was at. When before we had like a steady gap that allowed us to save so much.
Mm-hmm. It reversed.
So during that point in time, it was like there was a lot more pressure. There was a lot more heat. While I still had to balance classes, it was crazy. It all together. It was like I had an extra class dealing with financial aid. Well, how many times in a month I would go like 10, 12 times. Issue started beginning of September. Because remember the hurricane? The hurricane that delayed a little bit of the podcast. It did. Yeah. And it delayed us. Well, it delayed me in school. So from the issue starting in September to the issue of December, issue still hasn't been fixed. We're going into 2024, keeping it rolling. And it's really wild. But I can honestly say I agree with you for overall, how this year, what it forced me to learn was a lot of resilience and determination. It did.
Do you feel like, because I know in my part, I did add the word in the end, accountability. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like there was ever a point in time where you were more so responsible to where it was? Or do you feel like the majority of it was out of your control?
Hey, It's Just family. It's Patrick, one half of the It's Just Us show. And thank you for listening. I hope you're having an amazing day. Do not forget to follow us on all platforms in the descriptions below. Keep listening to the show. Let us know what you think. Don't forget to leave a review and a rating. And share what your favorite topic was for this episode. And when you post it, don't forget to tag us so we can repost it. Thank you for listening. We're going to get right back to the episode.
I felt very much out of control, mainly just because I took so much accountability on my own actions. Mm-hmm. I felt that there was so many things that I had to wait on other people for.
There was, every single day.
As soon as I get my side completely done, finished, in a quick manner, it was like it still didn't matter because there was still another issue. Even with our own finances, us trying to pay debt down, we did pay debt down, affected bills, and then paying the bills affected the debt.
Yeah.
It started to go into a cycle at that point.
It was a teeter-totter.
So now we're worrying about finances because we had you almost dying in the beginning of the year.
So he said, all right, we good on the finances. We're going to just focus on health.
And now that we focus here, I get hit by a car. I'm going to the ER about twice. And my financial aid still hasn't came through. So from September to December, never.
But we were also always somehow was straight.
Somehow.
Because right when you got hit, my job insurance had just activated. So we didn't have to pay for nothing. I ain't saying that make it bad. I ain't saying that make it good. But, it could have been worse.
Man.
It's wild, though, that literally last day of school, that's like getting tripped on your way out.
It was that same day I went back to financial aid and the directors themselves came out. It was like, the director themselves had told the lady who I was talking to that we're still getting our financial aid awarded. It's just going to take some time. Mm-hmm. I already done heard the same excuse about 20 times. The last 10 times I came in here.
Just sweet nothings.
This y'all is gaslighting me. This is why I took it to the VP, right? That was the same day. I get hit later on that day, leaving my 6:45 class.
So I guess I'll ask you, with this and understanding that there's similar situations that happen at other schools, do you now, being here longer than just a year and having that HBCU kind of cupcake phase, do you feel the same about HBCUs or do you have a different outlook on it?
I think I've been at FAMU now about 2 years and I can say it's mixed feelings about it. Mm-hmm. Because again, there's still a lot of love for the alumni who come back and rep FAMU to the fullest. It's still a lot of love for the faculty members that is genuinely focused on your growth and well-being. It's hard to find those type of people because a lot of administration, and not just HBCUs, but in colleges, they've been there for so long that they're kind of just used to the check.
It's just a job.
Yeah, it's just a job at that point. So to have those type of faculty members, to have the groups of classmates and friends that I've been able to make along the way, I don't know. It's difficult to say. It's like a love-dislike situation going on. Mm-hmm. Dislike with financial aid, but still love for the institution itself. I just can compartmentalize and understand that every school may have its own issues.
Like people.
Exactly. But I can't just up and leave if I believe in the growth that I can gain from being there.
Okay.
And I've gained a lot, even throughout this whole entire process. What dealing with FAMU in this situation and dealing with trying to balance personal life, school, and just everything together. The institution definitely helped build me to a better person. It forced me to find control within myself because the environment it gave me was stuff that was oftentimes wasn't in my control, because that's the real world. Mm-hmm. You have to learn resilience. You have to learn determination no matter what is being thrown at you. And yeah, child, I got hit on campus of FAMU, so I feel like that was a final lesson that they had to give me before the semester ended. I don't know what it got for me for spring, but I'm excited to see.
And how do you feel about Tallahassee drivers? Since you've been here about, what, almost 3 years?
I'm so tired of them. I want to go back down to South Florida, and people from South Florida would understand and be shocked that I said that, but still.
It really is. For those who don't know, in Tallahassee, you have to, and this is separate or together, you have to dodge at least one accident a day. In Tallahassee, you can't even just drive for yourself. You gotta, even if it's green light, you gotta still brake a little bit, check both sides. Don't let it be after 7 p.m. You can't even go on Appalachia, North Monroe Street. It's speed races, and anybody in a Camaro at any given point in time can just run a red light. So you just gotta watch out.
Dog, it is so wild with the drivers up here in Tallahassee.
It's like in the driver test, you just go up there with a $50 bill, you just pay for it, and they just say, "Here you go."
We told people who come visit us about the drivers, and they don't realize until they just run a red light, and they'll see it about twice in that same car trip. Yeah. All we doing is going up the street to Walgreens.
That's probably why I had to get my brakes replaced right there. All the times I had to dodge a wreck.
You remember when came and within a month and a half of living in Tallahassee, already got her car totaled by somebody who can't turn?
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah.
What happened? I think her car insurance, once like the address changed from like the old address to Tallahassee, that thing shot up like $7,500 a month.
Mine went up too. Once I registered my thing was in Tallahassee, they was like, "Nah, big dog." And look what happened. They had to deal with 2 wrecks.
I'm tired. But overall, I'm glad that we was able to summarize all that happened to us. Because we really want y'all to understand we tried with this podcast and we still gonna keep trying. But this first season was a lot.
I'm gonna say though, I'm gonna let you get it off, but not only did we try, but we did it.
We did.
12 episodes ain't bad for a first season.
That is 100% true.
Especially when you didn't intend on it being a seasonal show.
Yes. But with everything that happened, this is the exact reason why it's seasonal. I'm proud of you.
I'm proud of you too, and you did really good. I know you really got beat up, man.
Thank you for nursing me back. It was kind of hard because all my right side was swollen. All my right side was swollen and messed up. So thank you for nursing me back, because this left side was all I could use for a second.
I remember I was carrying you up and down stairs, even though you wanted to handle it yourself. You looking crippled, about to fall all over the place.
It's hard navigating. One side is like fine, and then the other side is just like it's hard navigating that.
You don't navigate. You sit down somewhere, and you ain't want to, and that's your problem. But nah, no problem. I'm glad you got better, or are getting better, because you definitely was pieced up. You was. You look like you had stopped by Weenie Hut Juniors.
It was a FAMU student who hit me too. The FAMU police was so fed up. They was basically saying this is like the accident that they always see on campus. Like they was so fed up hearing it.
Somebody driving. Because you got hit in a crosswalk. You weren't jaywalking. You got hit in a crosswalk. Mm-hmm. And it was your turn to go.
It was so many cars that was there too. I kind of jumped up because I was kind of embarrassed. It was like a lot of cars to the left that had stopped. And when they seen that I kind of flew a little bit, everybody just kind of like opening their windows. People was like stepping out, trying to make sure I was good, which I appreciate. I do.
You basically got like the sitcom college kid life. Like that would have been your part where like freeze framing is like, you're probably wondering how I got here. And then you got to explain all the stuff that happened with financial aid in your classes.
Listen, in my foundation of visual communication class, we actually was doing like a photography outdoors type of thing. And I have pictures literally minutes to hours before the car accident. And I think I have like one where like the camera had like fell. Mm-hmm. So maybe we could show that a little bit on the camera work or on the video, maybe. But we'll see. It was an interesting year.
It was.
For all together.
It was. And now we're here in the new year.
Yes.
And boy, let me tell you something. Did we eat our share of black-eyed peas and collard greens?
Oh, we did, definitely.
Yeah.
Your cousin was serious. Hey, come on over to my house and grab some of these black-eyed peas and collard greens.
Y'all over here broken unlucky. Y'all need to come get some of these greens and peas right now.
Bro.
That was funny. But it's gonna be a year, and next season we're gonna get it back rolling. We'll get the pictures back going, short-term videos, everything.
Oh yeah, we going hard.
Yeah.
I'm about to say the quality that you see from the first episode.
We're gonna get that right.
We're gonna get that right, and we're gonna replicate it multiple times.
But all the listeners and the people in the Discord and everyone that just followed directions or shared, even if you just shared it one time, like, definitely appreciate y'all, because
definitely
y'all showed us that the product that we thought was good was good.
And sometimes you need that external confirmation to make sure you can keep going. But we do love you guys.
Thank you for listening to Steph's episode.
And we hope to see you for season 2, episode 1.
Mm-hmm. And we hope that y'all have an amazing 2024, because y'all deserve it just as much as we do.
Yes. Hopefully we sipping on like a pina colada or Bahama Breeze, something like that.
Oh yeah.
On the first episode of season 2.
Facts.
What's up, y'all? It's Stephanie, co-host of the It's Just Us podcast, and we appreciate you all for tuning into our conversations. Now, we talk about trending news, entertainment, and even topics our members put in the Discord. So hit the link in the description below to join the community and participate in the selection process. We love you guys.